Good evening, everyone. Welcome. It being 7:30 on Tuesday, February 1st, 2022, we will begin our town council meeting. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can we please have a moment of silence for all those who serve in our military at home and abroad and for their families? Thank you. We'll begin with a roll call vote for attendance. Clerk Semino, if you can give us a roll call, please.
Councilor Barrica?
Yes.
Councilor Flaherty?
Here.
Councilor Hume?
Here.
Councilor Mackin?
Here.
Councilor Maglio?
Here.
1 second. Councilor O'Brien?
Present.
Councilor Reynolds?
Present.
Councilor Ringus is not attending this evening, and Councilor Ryan is presently not here.
Thank you very much, Clerk Semino. We do have a council member who is participating remotely this evening. Councilor O'Brien is on the phone, so all of our votes will be by roll call this evening. All right, we'll move on to announcements. I do have several announcements this evening. First up, at our last meeting, 00222, the committee assignments for the Municipal Oversight Committee, which was new, we voted that in at our last meeting. And I would like to announce the 3 members of the Municipal Oversight Committee, and I thank you for agreeing to serve on that. So that will be chaired by Councilor Mackin. It will be Vice Chair will be Councilor Ryan, and Councilor Flaherty will serve as the 3rd member.
Sorry.
Okay.
I apologize.
Councilor Ryan is remote this evening,
Yes.
but he is present. Thank you, Clerk Semino.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. Next, I do want to congratulate last Friday, January 28th. We had 3 Braintree police officers who were promoted. So congratulations to Sergeant Brian Eng. He was promoted to lieutenant. Detective Matthew Heslom, who was promoted to sergeant, and to Officer Frank Sforza, who was promoted to sergeant. And I think I want to, on behalf of the council and all of the residents, thank the entire Braintree Police Department who are out keeping our community safe every single day. I think we all agree we are very lucky to have the force we do have here in Braintree, and congratulations again to 3 well-deserved promotions. I see in the audience tonight we have our DPW Director, Jim Arsenault. I know, and I want to recognize, Jim, your team for working tirelessly over the last 3 days to clear a huge amount of snow from our streets and sidewalks, and for really working around the clock since Saturday when the snow began to fall. So thank you. It is a huge undertaking and a huge component for keeping the entire community safe. And while our BELD commissioners are not here tonight, I think we can all say thank you also to BELD for keeping our lights on once again. I don't think there's a more beloved utility anywhere in the country than BELD, and we're so grateful that they always do a fantastic job during any storm response. All right. I also want to let folks know, especially for people who aren't here but maybe watching on TV tonight, the Sun Will Rise Foundation, which is a foundation founded in Braintree, is going to be doing another backpack drive for the homeless. So as we all are aware, homelessness has increased over the course of the pandemic, and this is an effort to supply the police, the fire, and our other local harm reduction workers, as well as direct street delivery to those in need. And the needs are, I'm going to read them out, and thank you to Clerk Semino. The list is also on the announcements page of the Town Council website. But for blankets and Mylar blankets, socks, new underwear, travel packs of tissues, the hand warmers, the individual hand warmers, toiletries, chapstick, individual packs of wipes, snacks, jackets, and gently used jackets are acceptable, gloves, winter hats, bags and backpacks, and $5 gift cards to either Dunkin' or McDonald's. So folks can drop the items off to the Houston Insurance and Real Estate Company, and again, all this information will be on the Town Council's webpage. 541 Washington Street. You can leave items at the back door if the office isn't open, and just let them know the number there is 781-789-4604. And again, the address is 541 Washington Street. It's the Houston Insurance and Real Estate Building. And thank you in advance for your generosity for this effort, taking care of people in our community. And my last announcement tonight, I want to let folks know we're trying to make it easier for residents to access the council meetings, and I want to thank Clerk of the Council, Sue Semino, for helping to make this happen. We have added a quick link to BCAM's live stream from the Town Council's webpage, so you can go right to the Town Council webpage on braintreema.gov, and you'll see the link to the live stream on the front page. We've also added a QR code to the agenda. That will also take you to the live stream. You can scan it with your smartphone if you want to access the meetings live or afterwards through your phone. So thank you again, Clerk Semino, for your help in making those happen. Are there any other announcements from the councilors? Councilor Hume.
Thank you, President Barrica. I just want to echo the President's sentiments on DPW. DPW Director Jim Arsenal is here. This is one of the biggest storms we have seen in Braintree, as they're reporting, probably since the blizzard of '78. It was a blizzard. DPW crews were out nonstop for days on end. On my way here to the council meeting, they are still out there, making it safe for residents driving out of side streets because of the high amount, the amount of the snow we got. There's snowbanks, which their main purpose during the midst of a storm is keeping the roads clear. So they are still out there, still doing a great job. I commend all them. Please pass on to all your staff. I was reaching out to the mayor during the storm and said they were out there and he was down seeing them. They do a tireless effort, and I think a lot of their work goes unnoticed. But we had you here last time, and you spent a great deal of time, which I appreciated the very lengthy update, because I think it was very worthwhile for us as a council, but for all the residents to know everything that's going on in the town, in DPW, and all the projects that we don't see and don't hear about. So thank you for that. But huge thanks for keeping our roads clear so first responders could get around, for our essential workers could get out there and get to work, and to get the kids safely to school too. So thank you, Director Arsenal. And as many of you know, we passed our first debt exclusion for the South Middle School, and the mayor has put out today. Are you going to talk about this while you're here? I'm not trumping anything you're going to say. There was a groundbreaking for South Middle School on February 7th at 10:30. So this is a historic moment in Braintree. It is the first new building in many years. First debt exclusion ever. So thank you to Mayor Kokoros for that, and for making that event and sharing that with us. I appreciate it. So hope to see many people there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Hume.
Madam.
Any other announcements? All right, we will move on to the approval of minutes. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of December 7th, 2021?
So moved.
Second. Thank you, Councilors Hume and Flaherty. Clerk Semino, roll call vote, please.
Councilor Barrica?
Yes.
Councilor Flaherty?
Yes.
Councilor Hume?
Aye.
Councilor Mackin?
Aye.
Councilor Maglio?
Aye.
Councilor O'Brien?
Nay.
Councilor Reynolds?
Aye.
Councilor Ringus is not here this evening. Councilor Ryan?
Aye.
That's 8 in favor, 1 opposed, 1 absent.
Okay, thank you very much, Clerk Semino. And I do want to make sure I recognize, in addition to DPW Director Jim Arsenault, we also have with us tonight our Finance Director Ed Spellman, the Mayor's Chief of Staff Nicole Taub, and the Mayor is here with us. So we will move on to our communications, and thank you, Mayor Kokoros, for joining us tonight to provide us with an update on the South Shore Plaza.
Thank you, Madam President, councilors. First, I'd like to echo the compliments given to the DPW. I was out during most of the storm, and a few things that happened during the storm were really zero visibility conditions for the most of the storm, and windshield wipers icing up, plows icing up. There was a lot of maintenance that had to go on in addition to the actual plowing, maintenance of the equipment, and I had an opportunity to go over and see the crew over at the DPW headquarters, and I got to tell you, they really worked so hard, and I really appreciate everything that they do every day. And as you said, the previous speaker said, they continue to work to try to clear this enormous snowstorm that fell on us, and I just can't say enough great things about them, and the fact that they're still out there plowing and plow through the night while we're all sleeping and comfortable and warm at home, and I just want to let everyone know what the conditions were like out there for them, and they didn't get any better for a long time, so thank you for recognizing them. In addition, I just wanted to let you know that as far as the COVID numbers, we've been seeing a drop, which is great. I think today we had about 24 or 29 cases, so our numbers have been in the 20s, which is a really good sign. Hopefully we'll be able to bring this thing down to 0 at some point, or somewhere in that realm, but things are looking a lot better than they were two weeks ago. So, first of all, I want to thank you for having me here tonight in regards to an event that occurred. We had a fatal shooting on Saturday the 22nd of January, and as far as the overall investigation, I really can't get into any of those details because it's ongoing, but I just want to provide an update as far as some of the actions that I've taken since this occurred. Firstly, I just want to know that you to know that the safety of all all that come through the doors of South Shore Plaza is paramount, and that we want to make sure that everybody has a safe and enjoyable shopping experience. Folks coming to Braintree, we appreciate them bringing their shopping here, and we want to make sure that the South Shore Plaza stays a safe and viable regional mall. As far as first steps, we, from the very beginning, increased our police presence after the shooting. That evening, we had a number of law enforcement agencies through Metrolec, state police. We also had the DA's office out there. So there was a great collaboration. Unfortunately, it seems like we're getting better and better at this. And I think the organization that was put together from the very beginning, and I was there at the very beginning. I just happened to be going to get a cup of coffee at Starbucks when it all went down. So I got to tell you, the leadership at the mall at the time, we had Sergeant Jenkins, who was working at the time, and Sergeant Beta. I think they were the first two, and then we had the deputies come and the chief. So they did a great job at responding and securing the situation, securing the location, and making sure that either people locked down or people were evacuated from the mall. So kudos to them for being able to handle such a high-stress situation. And being there, I saw really the panic of many people as they left. So aside from, increasing, police patrol and presence at the mall, which, was the initial first step, we put together a meeting with Simon Properties, who are the owners of the South Shore Plaza. This meeting included the executives from the Simon Property Corporation through a Zoom meeting. They had a security division that operates out of Indianapolis that was there as well. They had some local representation from the plaza. I had Chief Du Bois, Deputy Chief Cahoon, Deputy Chief Want, and Chief of Staff Taub attend the meeting. And we talked about a number of things, and I think we have agreed in principle on some of these items. Some of these items include replacing some of the antiquated camera systems that we have and upgrading that technology, as well as increasing the number of cameras. We have some really skilled and very well versed in this area folks at Police Department, specifically one, Steve Wallace, who does a great job with technology. So that's something that we all agree on, the mall agrees on, we agree on. It gives us, it gives us the ability to identify someone and their pathway if something occurs there. We're hoping this does not occur again, but if we had those particular things in place, we wouldn't have had to lock down the neighborhood if we have known that the suspect had left the area. So these cameras are going to deter criminals from coming to the mall because they're going to be in high definition and they're going to be videotaped, and if they commit crimes, they will be apprehended and we'll know exactly where they're headed. In addition to the cameras, when an event like this occurs, there's a number of different agencies that come, and I think state police had the most difficulty with communications. Their radios were having a problem working the mall. So we're going to make some technical changes so that we have better communications within the mall and around the mall. So those improvements are going to be made as well. If you look at where the substation is now, it's really, it's not as effective as it could be in a more prominent location. First of all, so that folks could go to that substation if they needed to. So we're looking for a new location. This was something we had talked about in 2020, and it kind of fell off the radar, but I think it's right now it's right back in play, and that's something that we look to follow up on. So we're going to find a location to relocate the substation. In addition, we're looking at increasing the number of police officers. Currently, we have one supervisor and 2 officers at South Shore Plaza. We're looking to increase that number to 4 officers and 1 supervisor. And we've agreed in principle on many of these things. We just have to work on the details to get to the numbers. Another thing that is interesting is that Simon Properties has a private operational intelligence center that's located in Indianapolis that they have engaged now with the South Shore Plaza. So this is part of their team, and they have a number of different things that they do. Some that, many of them that will help us with incidents like this, but also just in general for security and communications issues. As far as the other items, some of the other items that came up is, there was talk of bringing a K-9 in that could track firearms. That's something that, they were looking to do independently, and I think that we're going to have some discussion on that as to whether we are the handlers of that K-9 or whether they do it. So we're still working through the details on that. But overall, our conversation was to the point, and I think that all of the things that we were looking for and asking for we were able to agree in principle, and I think that it's just a matter of now of putting pen to paper and putting those agreements in writing. So at this point, once again, we will continue down this path, and we will find a way to assure that we have all of the measures in place to curb violent crime from the plaza. And I think that the police, once again, did a wonderful job, and I appreciate all of the surrounding police departments, Metrolec, as well as the state police and DA's office. I believe the sheriff's department was here as well. It's interesting because it's gotten to a point we've had so many incidents, not just at the plaza, but just in general, that I'm starting to really get to know some of these officers from other communities. And, as well as that is, I'd rather do it in a positive situation. But that's where we're at this point, and we will keep you updated as we move forward. Once we get through, exactly how we get through the agreement as far as having more personnel, more police officers at the South Shore Plaza. If anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Any questions from the counselors? Counselor Flaherty.
You talked about the number of officers posted at the mall, and there are also officers posted at Dave & Buster's. Is that including them or not? Is that number changing?
It does not include Dave & Buster's, and in addition, the Dave & Buster's officers are details, so they may not be police officers from Braintree. We have details that are retired Braintree from other departments, et cetera, but the officers we're talking about are full-time Braintree police officers that work directly for the Braintree Police Department and are there to patrol. So it's a little bit of a difference there. I mean, sometimes we do have, Braintree police officers working details over there, but these are in addition to the Dave & Buster police officer. And the other thing, too, is, as District 1 Counselor, I completely understand the concerns being in your seat before. We did do a lockdown, shelter in place, which, once we're able to, and hopefully we don't have to do this again, but if we had these cameras in place, and high-definition cameras, we would have known that the suspect had fled the plaza, and we wouldn't have had to put the lockdown on. So there's a lot of, this technology really brings about a lot of positive change, but more importantly, the police officers that we talk about would be in addition to the 3 that are currently assigned to the South Shore Plaza.
Okay, and I understand that there's the private security presence at South Shore Plaza has been increased substantially. Are you able to talk about that, or is somebody else going to tell us about that?
I would say at this point that they've put some assets in the mall, but, it is private property, so that's, really something that Simon has put together, and we haven't really vetted through everything that they're doing and what we're really going to disclose and what we're not going to disclose. But yes, there is additional presence there as well, but I would say it's more of a Simon conversation. I think some of the stuff they would rather keep private so that they can maintain the security.
To what extent does our police force coordinate with the private security staff to communicate when there's an episode or to coordinate plans?
So as far as the plaza security that works there now, the plaza security basically patrols, and they really don't have any police powers, so they would report to the police. The police would be called if there was any incidents. For example, if there was a group of kids fighting or whatever, they would call whoever was working at the South Shore Plaza, police officers, and they would engage, and they would respond to that particular situation. So I mean, their task is very different from our police, and they're really they're there to really check on things and report them to the police. As you remember the car clubs that used to travel their way around District 1 and go to each parking lot and wake up neighbors, the security at the plaza at the time, if they stumbled upon these people, by the time they called the police, they would be gone. But that's kind of essentially their duties. They don't arrest anyone. They're not there to do any policing, so to speak.
Can you go through the ways that the town will communicate with residents in abutting neighborhoods when there's something like this so that residents know where to look or how they might be contacted, if there's a way for them to sign up for these alerts and so forth?
Absolutely. That's a great question, and I think that they could call my office at 781-794-8100. They could also go on to the town's website. What we can do is we'll have my assistant, Steve Leary, share a link that can connect them right to the sign up. They can sign up for robocalls. They can sign up for text alerts. They can sign up for email alerts. So there's a number of different ways. We also post things on Facebook, Nextdoor, Instagram, Twitter. So all of those things would be available. But the sign-up document, we could share the link with you, and actually all the counselors, so that if they wanted to be notified, which is important, they can determine how they get notified. I know that there's a lot of folks that are signed up with their home phone and their cell phone, and they call up and try to get one of the phones taken off because they don't want multiple calls. And we also have the ability to target areas with robocalls as well as the text messages. So Mr. Leary in my office does a great job at that. So, even though it's, it was a Saturday, it doesn't matter what day of the week it is, he's always available to take care of that. I always have staff that can do that, so we can make sure they're notified. But those are if they want to contact us, we can help them find the link in order to sign up. And if someone doesn't have a computer and isn't able to do it, we can walk through it for them and sign them up. So our office, they can call 781-794-8100, or we can share the link with you for your social media and anything else you put out there.
What should a resident do if they've been contacted and they know that something's happening and then they see suspicious behavior in their neighborhood?
Well, another great question. If you see something, you should definitely say something. I mean, if there's someone that's running through their yard, I remember during the 2020 July 3rd situation, there were folks that saw someone in their yard and made the call, and I think it was caught on maybe a Ring camera or something. But they made the call, so we were able to better track the person. I should never go out and approach a person, but certainly making the phone call would help assist us if someone has eluded authorities and made their way into a neighborhood.
Is there a particular phone number that they should call in these kinds of emergencies, or should they call the non-emergency number, or should they call the
I would say we would call the
911?
emergency number. Yeah.
Call the emergency number?
Absolutely.
Okay. All right, that's all I have.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Councilor Flaherty. Councilor Reynolds, did you have a question?
Thank you, Madam
Right
President.
ahead.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for being here, and thank you very much for providing an update on that incident and what in the aftermath. Particularly of concern, certainly to the citizens of Braintree, is what are the steps to mitigate this type of thing from happening again. So it's encouraging that you, or I should say the town of Braintree and the Simon Properties, the owners of the South Shore Plaza, are working hand in hand and together on trying to introduce measures that would prevent these types of events happening again. I think we all agree from a public safety standpoint that it's the #1 priority, and it's encouraging to know the willingness of the two parties to work together on this. I have had some conversations with residents in my district and as well as around the town, and the question that I'm asked is, it's great that the community is working with these new cameras, and that the technology's been updated. But the incident avoidance, there's some interest about what kind of steps are being taken about the incident avoidance. And in the context of that question, I was asked, why is it that you don't seem to hear of these types of incidences in other malls in the area? And I know that there are some unique characteristics of the South Shore Plaza that are both a pro and a con to the plaza's business model, as well as to the community with its in a highway business district, its access to the highways, etc. But there still is an interest of what considerations have been given for the incident avoidance in a broader context. And I know we're fairly early in the process of the aftermath, in the assessment phase, and how we can identify courses of action to take, both from the town's perspective, but more importantly, I think, here from the business owner. So I'm just curious if you are aware of, or if there have been any kinds of conversations, or planned conversations, for that matter, at a more appropriate time in the future for a deeper look into the incident avoidance.
Well, I think that's a great question, and I think that, you know, obviously these measures in some cases will help us find someone after an incident occurs, but also cameras are a great deterrent for the criminal element. They do not want to be on camera, and the more we have, the more they see. They also don't want to see police presence. So those are a couple of things that, you know, we're working towards, which will help us in regards to avoidance. But I think that, you know, as we work through with the Central Intelligence Office that they have, as well as our police department, we'll come up with, you know, even more ideas to continue down the path to avoid situations like this in the future. Unfortunately, you know, no one can really predict what anyone's going to do at any given time, but
Agreed.
we certainly can create a number of things, that some that we probably won't talk about, some that they're probably doing now that they're not talking about, that will cause them to have information to help avoid situations. But we will keep working towards, that's the ultimate goal. And I
Right.
think,
Well, thank you. I appreciate that clarification. And as you move forward with these discussions, I would ask that, frankly, I don't see a large police presence conducive to a welcoming experience in Braintree. And so that's why the question is asked about steps. I guess somebody had said to me, you know, we're treating the aftermath and the symptoms. It's kind of like a patient. You know, the doctor takes a look and say, what's causing this? Right? So how do we avoid it? What kind of healthier lifestyle can we live to avoid these types of things? So I'm not looking for an answer from you this evening on this, certainly, but there's time for us to have a conversation as we move down the road. And so we thank you for the updates.
yeah, and I think the other thing too is, you know, some of the steps that we've taken more recently is, you know, as far as changing the parking ratio, the planning board approving special permit for one of the anchors. You know, we're trying to encourage redevelopment of the mall so that we have some different uses in there that will create, you know, a better environment in general. So.
And I was very pleased to see those steps that were taken, and those are steps toward what I think could be a better situation for all parties involved and the public, more so. But I am very interested about, you know, further steps in this conversation of identifying possible solutions as we move forward after this. And I wish you and certainly Simon all the best in the prosecution of the individuals of this horrible event, and certainly appreciate and see the efficiency of our public safety in action, and that in itself is very assuring as a citizen of this community, and that goes towards the level of training and preparedness and execution of our public safety. So I appreciate, again, you coming here this evening and giving the council and the community a further update. Thank you.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Councilor Ryan, go right ahead.
Thank you, Madam President. Good evening, Mayor Kokoris. Thank you for being here tonight. Sorry I walked in late a minute ago. I hope I didn't miss what I'm going to ask the question on. I think it's great that you're here giving us an update on this. We have a top-notch police department. We're very lucky. So I'm glad to see these measures being taken. I'm glad to see representatives from the plaza are here as well, and they're going to work with us in a cooperative way to try to make sure we can minimize these types of occurrences. One of the things I just want to mention, you know, any deterrent, as my fellow councilor just mentioned, any deterrent would be very welcome. I think the cameras are a great idea. I think maybe signage too, and letting people understand that something happens, you're going to be on camera doing it. So I'm not saying, you know, big obstructive signage, but some type of signage that people know when they're at the plaza, they're on camera. And I think that will help a lot. I do know of some type of technology where if you do hear a gunshot, it automatically can call or let the police know. I know there's that type of technology out there. I don't know if that might be applicable and could be helpful as well. But I wanted to say thank you for being here, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor.
Any other councilors? Thank you, Mayor Kokoris. I have just two quick questions and one comment. As usual, our clerk of the council keeps the train on the tracks and reminded us that you can also find the how do I sign up for the alerts on our town council agenda. So you can get that for residents, and if you can, we'll send that out as well. So that is available, and thank you, Clerk Semino. My question is, with the cameras and everything else, the implication is that Simon is going to be picking up the bill for this, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you for that. And then my second on that is, do you have a sense for the timing of when the agreement in principle will become an agreement in force? And it will be in place so that residents have a sense of when these new measures are going to be implemented?
Well, I'll say as far as, the cameras, we are working on identifying and locating, as well as Simon is doing Santa's collaborative effort. As far as the agreement being put to finality, I think that, obviously we have an agreement now. We'd be modifying that. So, I would hope within, the next couple of weeks we can come up with a solution. And, once we have reached that, we'll make sure that we come back with an update on that.
That's great to hear. Thank you. Go ahead, Councilor Ryan.
Madam President, one more point. I know, talking about the automatic phone calls, I don't know if there's any way, it's kind of tough dealing with the system that people have to sign up for because you're not going to get everybody. I'm wondering if there's any, system we could have with just knowing the neighborhoods, if we have that information with the phone numbers and just automatically call the neighborhoods in the area, the adjacent neighborhoods. So I don't know. I know I just got my my census in the mail today. I don't know if we should be asking for phone numbers of people, and we could automatically have an automatic call go out. So
I agree with you, Council, that any way that we can get, everyone engaged, and plus we utilize it for a number of other announcements as well, which really helps. It helps the phone from ringing, keeps the phone from ringing in our office when we're able to put out announcements as far as if a delay in trash or whatever the case is. But I think it would be something we could look into to see how we could get that database, make sure it's legal, and if we can, to be able to input all of those numbers so that everybody gets the message. And I know a lot of times, it's interesting you say that because, someone will say, I found out from my neighbor who got the call. Why didn't I get the call? So I think that hopefully we can get people to sign up, because some folks don't want to be called, and they like to be messaged. So we have, many different ways of communicating with the public, and we use them all. But I certainly will look into the logistics of getting those numbers inputted.
Through the chair, and even with your home phone number, it's like, if you call my home phone number, I might get the message like 3 months later or something if I go over to the answering machine and play it. But, getting people's cell phones numbers, so maybe it's not an easy thing, but something to consider. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Ryan. Thank you again, Mayor Kokoros, for joining us tonight and providing this timely update. And please pass along our gratitude to the chief and his team. To echo Councilor Ryan, I think the sentiments here, we're very lucky. Nobody wants these incidents to happen, ever. But having the team we have in place, I think, gives us all a lot of reassurance. So please pass that along.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Council.
Okay, all right, we are going to now move on to old business. And if nobody objects, we'd like to take order 22003, which is the appointment of Scott Lamphere for the Commission on Disabilities, out of order this evening. Okay, seeing no objection, I would move to have Councilor Reynolds, the chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, for your recommendation for this appointment to the Commission on Disabilities.
Thank you, Madam President. In the matter of the appointment of Scott Lamphere to the Commission on Disabilities, the Committee of Ways and Means met last week and voted unanimously for that recommendation to the full council.
Thank you very much. Would anyone from the mayor's office like to speak on order 22003?
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to tell you that, if you look at his resume, he is incredibly, educated and qualified for this, and I appreciate you appointing him, and want to thank you for taking the time, and the committee taking the time, and ask you to support. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mayor Kokoros. I know Mr. Lamphere was unable to join us this evening. Is there any council member who would like to speak on this? Councilor Flaherty?
There are a lot of reasons to approve of Mr. Lamphere's inclusion on the Council of Disabilities, but the reason that I think, when I asked him why he thought he was a good fit, was that he feels that he, as a person with disabilities, is well equipped to represent the community in Braintree. And I think that that's, certainly an important perspective to bring to the table, and I'm happy to support his inclusion tonight.
Thank you, Councilor Flaherty. Councilor Maglio?
Yes, I'll actually speak, and I want to echo what Councilor Flaherty said. I think it is very important for people on the committee to have lived experience, and it's exciting because there are others that are in the pool and in the pipeline, I believe, that hopefully we'll be hearing about their nominations as well coming through. So,
thank you, Councilor Maglio. Anyone else? I'm wholeheartedly in favor of this appointment as well. And again, for residents who may be watching the committee meetings when they're on Zoom, you can go back and look at them on BCAM's channel. And I want to just say, disability is one of the few things that really impacts nearly every single person, whether through old age, injury, or illness. So the work this board does in particular is absolutely essential for all of our residents. And I'm really enthusiastic about this appointment, and I want to I know Mr. Lamphere is not with us tonight, but thank him for his willingness to serve. All the boards and commissions are volunteer positions, so it's asking a lot of residents, and we're very grateful for the time. So with that, is there a motion for order 22003?
Yes, there is. In accordance with Section 3-3 of the Charter of the Town of Braintree, to approve the appointment of Scott and fair to the Commission on Disabilities.
Second.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call vote, please.
Counselor Berica?
Yes.
Counselor Flaherty?
Aye.
Counselor Hume?
Aye.
Counselor Mackin? Counselor Maglio?
Aye.
Counselor O'Brien?
Aye.
Counselor Reynolds?
Aye.
Counselor Ringus is not in attendance. Counselor Ryan?
Aye.
That's 8 in favor, 1 absent.
Thank you very much. All right, we're going to move on to 21060, the authorization to accept donations or take up any action related thereto. And again, I'm going to refer to Councilor Reynolds, our chairman of the Committee on Ways and Means, for their recommendation.
Thank you, Madam President. The Committee on Ways and Means voted unanimously to accept the donations for the town of Braintree.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone from the mayor's office who would like to speak on this?
Madam President, good evening, everyone. Just by way of background, last year Envision Bank had a promotion where they would donate $10 to a local animal shelter of the customer's choosing if they opened a new checking account. And happy to report that $300 are coming to the animal control shelter here in town to be used for new dog beds, foods, and treats for the animals that come into our possession. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any counselors who would like to speak? Yes? Okay, seeing none. Do we have a motion for 21060?
Yes, we do. And the motion that the town of Braintree be and hereby is authorized in accordance with Section 53A of Chapter 44 of the Massachusetts General Laws to accept the following gift upon the conditions attached and herein set forth. The donor, Envision Bank. The gift is $300. The purpose is for the animal control shelter. So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call vote, please.
Counselor Berica?
Yes.
Counselor Flaherty?
Aye.
Counselor Hume?
Aye.
Counselor Mackin? Counselor Maglio?
Aye.
Counselor O'Brien?
Aye.
Counselor Reynolds?
Aye.
Counselor Ringus is not in attendance. Counselor Ryan?
Aye.
That's 8 in favor, 1 absent.
Thank you very much, Clerk Semino. All right, moving on to 21062, which is the mayor, the borrowing authorization for the Tri-Town Water Treatment Plant or take up any action related thereto. This is a public hearing because it is a request to borrow money. There'll be 4 steps. We're going to open the public hearing. Then we will open it to comments from the council, the mayor's office, and the public. Then we will close the public hearing, and then we will vote. So with that, is there a motion to open the public hearing for order 21062?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call vote, please.
Counselor Berica?
Yes.
Counselor Flaherty?
Aye.
Counselor Hume?
Aye.
Counselor Mackin? Counselor Maglio?
Aye.
Counselor O'Brien?
Aye.
Counselor Reynolds?
Aye.
Counselor Ringus is not in attendance this evening. Counselor Ryan?
Aye.
That's 8 in favor, 1 absent.
Thank you very much. And so I will now refer again to Councilor Reynolds, Chairman of the Ways and Means Committee, for their recommendation.
Thank you, Madam President. Excuse me. The Committee on Ways and Means met last week and recommended favorable approval unanimously for the full council order 21062.
Thank you very much. With that, would anyone from the mayor's office like to speak on this?
Certainly. Good evening again. As detailed to Ways and Means at our meeting last week, as well as in the memo that was provided, the town had previously appropriated a total of $33.7 million, which was our share of the original cost estimates for the construction of the new treatment plant. As part of our 90% design submission, we had to complete an updated cost estimate, which reflected an increase in price that requires an additional appropriation of $5,680,809. The reason that we're coming to you this evening with this request is as part of the SRF funding application, which is the low-interest loan that we've been approved for in order to fund the project. Each participating community needs to show that it has received authorization to borrow the total allocation required of it by the legislation. And so with that, we are requesting the council's approval for the additional funding. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief of Staff Taub. Are there any counselors who would like to speak on this or questions? Councilor Ryan?
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. You know, tonight we mentioned earlier that we're lucky in Braintree. We have a great police department. There's a lot of things in Braintree that we're very lucky for. You know, I think we just went through the storm. I didn't lose power at my house, so we're pretty lucky that we have our own electric light department. And we're very lucky that we have our own water supply. We have a water treatment plant. And we have wonderful potable water. And it's maybe it's something we don't appreciate, that you go over and you turn your water on and the water comes out of the faucet. But we all know the worth of water when the well runs dry, as someone once said. And it's very important, the new water treatment plant, working with the Tri-Town and Randolph and Holbrook. And this is of the utmost importance that we build this new treatment plant, and we have a state-of-the-art treatment plant. It's our due diligence for the current residents of Braintree and for our children, that they're going to have a good, clean water supply. So I fully support this, and I want to thank the Mayor's office for all the hard work that they do on this. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor Ryan. Councilor Flaherty.
I think it's worth having residents understand that this, if we authorize this, this loan, if we authorize this money, it will be paid through the Water and Sewer Enterprise Fund rather than through the general fund. It should not impact our general fund, and it shouldn't be. It's not a trade-off for this loan in exchange for something that we won't be able to have later on down the road in our capital plan. So I wanted that to be clear for residents, and I'm happy to support it. I think it will be, it's a smart financial move.
Thank you, Councilor Flaherty. Councilor Reynolds, go right ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I just wanted to be able to note for the public this evening, and as part of our discussions in the Ways and Means Committee meeting, we had a great conversation with Chief of Staff Taub, as well as with Finance Director Spellman and DPW Director Arsenal. There were a lot of questions that were asked about the financing and the various options that were available for this particular project and Braintree's portion of it. We understood, and I think it's important also to clarify here, that the town was required to be able to show the ability to finance the full cost of its portion of this project. And what that means is that, from a follow-on standpoint, the state has a fund, a revolving water fund, that has available monies at a low-interest loan that the town would then become qualified for. And it is a very good option for the town to have in its pocket, whereas there are a number of ways the town can finance the full cost of this project going forward, particular to this last installment of $5.6 million, and that there is the bond market and what kind of prices are they going to cost the town. We're in an environment right now where the interest rates, Fed interest rates, may be going up again. And so to have that ability to go to the state and assist us in reimbursing this community for that cost is a great advantage as we're looking down the road, and certainly as we ramp up toward the new budget season. There are other options we spoke about as well. One question was asked, and Madam President, I don't want to steal your thunder, but I do believe you had asked that question in the form of an email about ARPA as being an option for this. And at this particular point in time, I think that the town, and I don't want to speak for the mayor's office on this, but I do believe that they're going to look at that money more from a revenue replacement perspective rather than from a capital standpoint, and look at other opportunities. And certainly I hope that those opportunities will materialize as it will help the state of this town, bottom line. And it's also important to note that from the federal government standpoint, there was a infrastructure plan that was passed back in December, and we have yet to see what those details are. But again, on the horizon, I think it's safe to say that there are additional opportunities for us to reimburse the town, and specifically reimburse the water and sewer ratepayers for the cost of this new treatment plant. So overall, I plan on voting for this. I think it is absolutely necessary. As a previous speaker, Councilor Ryan had spoke to the issue of the importance of water and the importance of Braintree to have its own water supply and control that water supply, and the quality of that water in this new technology that's going to be rolled out is going to be an extremely big benefit to our community and our ratepayers. So again, I stand in full support of this measure.
Thank you, Councilor Ryan. Any other councilors? Councilor Ryan?
Yes, and I just want to make a point. I hope that, to the mayor's office and the mayor, I hope that we're looking at the rate impacts of this on the water and sewer ratepayers, and we're going to maybe adjust the rates incrementally so we don't have rate shock from any of these costs. So I hope we've taken that into consideration. And I know, being a former water and sewer commissioner, Mayor Kokoros, hopefully that's been considered. Thank you. I'm sure it has.
Does anyone on from the mayor's staff or Mr. Mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. Thank you, Councilor Ryan. Yes, this is something that started before I was mayor, and they started incremental increases so that we wouldn't have a large increase at one time. I'll also say that when we look, even though there's an increase, obviously, because of cost increase that are happening, that's costing us a little more, that we have to borrow, under $40 million for us to have a treatment plant built is significantly much better than doing it on our own, as well as the fact that a previous speaker had spoken about additional infrastructure money that we're working on with our consultant to try to secure anything we can. Constantly looking through that. We're hoping that, there was some conversation as to maybe having some additional revenue come into SRF funding to maybe be able to help lower or eliminate interest on the loans as well. So those are some things that have been tossed out there, coming from the feds, coming from the state. So we certainly are prepared to make the payments once this is built and once we financed it and we build it. And in addition to that, we've worked really well with the other communities. And I know that both Randolph and Holbrook have worked hard to try to reach out to all of their representatives. So we've been working with our state reps, et cetera, and senators to try to do everything we can to get funding, not necessarily through our ARPA that we're looking at to do revenue replacement, but from additional pots of money that are sitting in the state and federal government. So, but as far as the rate question, we are prepared to make the payments based on the incremental increases, and things are looking really good, and we're excited about this. And I know that we talked about this, I don't know, I can't remember how many years ago it was now, well, Mr. Ryan. Through
the chair, I just want to, commend Mayor Kokoros. I remember, I'd say that it was your idea to build a tri-town water treatment plant, and that was probably 15 years ago when we were selectmen. And it's great to see that this is coming to fruition. When we have the tri-town building a water treatment plant, we're going to have economies of scale. We're going to have, a brand new facility that is, when you spread the costs out, it makes it all that more affordable. And I want to commend you for all the work you've done. And it will be a great day when we're commissioning the new treatment plant.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Kokoros. Anyone else? Okay, I would like to echo Councilor Ryan's sentiment. I'm in full support of this. Having our own utilities is a huge benefit, not only as residents, current residents, but for future residents, businesses, It is a big deal, and it really sets Braintree apart. And having clean, safe, abundant drinking water is really second to none when it comes to public health and safety. And I think that's what we're all tasked to ensure for the residents of the town. So I will be very much looking forward to the final product. I think we're 2024 maybe. But yes, in full support, and thank you for all the work and effort on this, because it's a lot to coordinate between 3 communities, so appreciate it. Right. With that, we are now going to, the public, I'm sorry. Is there anyone from the public who would wish to speak on this matter? And I apologize for that. Okay, seeing none, in that case, we will close the public hearing.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, a roll call to close the public hearing, please.
Council Barica?
Yes.
Council Flaherty? Aye. Council Hume?
Aye.
Council Mackin? Council Maglio?
Aye.
Council O'Brien?
Aye.
Council Reynolds?
Aye.
Council Ringus is not in attendance. Council Ryan?
Aye.
That's 8 in favor, 1 absent.
Thank you, Clerk Semino. And do we have a motion for Order 21062?
Yes, we do. Ordered that the town of Braintree appropriates $5,681,000 to pay for the town's share of the cost of designing, constructing, equipping, and furnishing the Tri-Town Water Treatment Plant, which is to be undertaken with the towns of Randolph and Holbrook, and for the payment of all costs incidental and related thereto, which amount shall be expended in addition to all other amounts previously appropriated by the town for this project. To meet this appropriation, the treasurer, with the approval of the mayor, is authorized to borrow said amount under and pursuant to General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 7.1, Section 8.4, or pursuant to any other enabling authority, and to issue bonds or notes of the town therefore. The amount authorized to be borrowed by this order shall be reduced to the extent of any grants received by the town on account of this project. All or any portion of the amount authorized to be borrowed by this order may be obtained through the Massachusetts Clean Water Trust. Any premium received by the town upon the sale of any bonds or notes approved by this order, less any such premium applied to the payments of the cost of the issuance of such bonds or notes, may be applied to the payment of cost approved by this order in accordance with General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 20 of the General Laws, thereby reducing the amount authorized to be borrowed to pay such costs by a like amount. So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call vote, please.
Council Barica?
Yes.
Council Flaherty?
Aye.
Council Hume?
Aye.
Council Mackin? Council Maglio?
Aye.
Council O'Brien?
Aye.
Council Reynolds?
Aye.
Council Ringus is not in attendance this evening. Council Ryan?
Aye.
8 in favor, 1 absent.
Thank you very much. We have no new business to attend to this evening, so we will move on to referrals to committees. Councilor Ryan, you can do the referrals, please.
Refer to the Committee on Ordinance and Rules 00622, Council President, Town Council Rules, or take up any action related thereto.
Second.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call vote, please.
Council Barica?
Yes.
Council Flaherty?
Yes.
Council Hume?
Aye.
Council Mackin? Council Maglio?
Aye.
Council O'Brien?
Aye.
Council Reynolds?
Aye.
Council Ringus is not in attendance. Council Ryan?
Aye.
8 in favor, 1 absent.
Okay, and I have 2 to refer to the Committee on Ways and Means, 00722, Council Reynolds, second quarter budget update or take up any action related thereto, and 22005, Mayor Home Rule Petition, retirement of Officer Richard Seibert, or take up any action related thereto.
Second.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call vote, please.
Council Barica?
Yes.
Council Flaherty?
Yes.
Council Hume?
Aye.
Council Mackin? Council Maglio?
Aye.
Council O'Brien?
Aye.
Council Reynolds?
Aye.
Counselor Ringus is not in attendance this evening. Counselor Ryan,
Aye.
8 in favor, 1 absent.
Thank you very much, Clerk Semino. Okay, our next meeting will be on Tuesday, February 15th at 7:30 PM. And as always, hearty thanks to our team from BCAM, Wes Ray, Bill Needham, and Jerry Comack, and their crew for televising our meetings, live streaming them on BCAM, getting everything set up and in working order all the time. So thank you, BCAM. And do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you, Councilors Ryan and Hume. Clerk Semino, roll call vote, please.
Counselor Barrica?
Yes.
Counselor Flaherty?
Yes.
Counselor Hume?
Aye.
Counselor Mackin? Counselor Maglio?
Aye.
Counselor O'Brien?
Aye.
Counselor Reynolds?
Aye.
Counselor Ringus is not in attendance. Counselor Ryan?
Aye.
That's 8 in favor, 1 absent.
Thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned.